watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. Well, today we're going to be looking at a Imperial from the Frontier series. And this is a really interesting series. I'm going to be diving deeper into it and giving you more history and facts about it. But today we're just going to be looking at this particular knife with not a lot of background information. But I'll give you the basics. These were made, from like the mid to late 70s till about 1983, the first series of knives that they put out. Maybe a bit longer than that, depending on who you ask. But these were supposed to be upscale versions of the irregular Imperial knives that are actually made by Camillus. So makes them kind of neat. They're rather unique that way, because they aren't your normal Imperial knife. On the back, you have a 25-year warranty. Imperial Knife Company out of Providence, Rhode Island. On the side, again, like I said, this says 1975. I think that's when they began the marketing materials for the ICO Pioneer series, but I don't think they actually came out with the knives until 76. I might be wrong about that. But then it's made in the United States and printed box in the United States. But here's what we're looking at today. This is from the 42 series. This is actually model number 4231. This was the 3 1/4 inch serpentine frame with the rounded bolsters. So that is what this one is part of the series of. And this is a Stockman design, so you've got 3 blades. But nickel silver bolsters on either end. You've got the jigged brown handles, actually made from Delrin. Nickel silver shield, and there's that wonderful shield that I alluded to earlier with the powder horn. It says Frontier there underneath the powder horn. And yeah, really good transitions. The inlay is really well done. Nice and smooth across the length of the knife. And this is just a beautiful example of being pretty much new old stock. It doesn't look like it's ever been sharpened or used. There's a good look at the back side here. You can see how well that matches the front. Again, everything's super smooth on the back. No proud pins. Good transitions on the bottom. You do have one minor little issue, I think, where the brass liner got smashed in a little bit. Right here, you can just see it. It's actually not emitting light through there, so I think it's just sort of at the edge, the liner kind of got smashed downward at an angle. So it creates what looks like a gap, but it's actually not. But again, brass liners, love that. And you can see how one spring is a little wider than the other. So they're not perfectly even in terms of their spring size. Got one wider spring and one slightly thinner spring. But pretty neat design. I guess they do that, to make the knife wide enough to fit all the blades. You can see the blade stock on these is pretty decent, pretty thick for a Stockman in this size. But let's take a look at the blades. So our main blade is about a 6 pull on that. Nice snap on the open. Little Turkish clip blade. Pretty nice little design there. Very sleek and slender. Yeah, nice satin finish on it. And look at how they do the edges on these older knives. Like, they just don't remove a ton of material. They're very meticulous in how they do that. Just feel like they paid more attention to how they did that in the old days. Kind of let you, make your grind on it without taking off too much metal from the get-go. But you have a nice clean nail neck on there, and still good enough edge to get you started there. Nice point. Good satin finish on there. There's a look at how that tapers down to the end there. But the grind, even, very even. Even though there's not a whole lot taken off there. Just nice and evenly done. Let's look at the tang stamps here. Kind of provide more information. But there you have the Frontier tang stamp with the powder horn little logo below it. On this side, you actually have the pattern number, which is 4231. And then it says Made in USA. Or no, I'm sorry, it says Imperial, and then USA below that. So, model number Imperial USA. But again, good blade snap on that, good action. Happy with that. Middle blade is your sheep's foot. Again, I'd say all of the blades are pretty consistently about a 6 with good snap on them. Again, you can tell these have never been used. Satin finish, very light grind on the edge. Nice clean nail neck. Now these don't have anything on their tangs, but again, there's that nice clean blade edge on it, and good snap on the close. Fantastic. And our final blade is the spade blade. Again, about a 6 pull on it, and again, satin finish on it. Blade grind's pretty consistent, like throughout the entire knife, just very, very light edge. Again, no tank stamp on this one. Have a look at the nail nick, very much like the other two, but very light grinds on these. But the action is fantastic on all 3 blades, about a 6 with good snap on the close. Let's take a measure of all 3 blades here. We got the main blade. It's just shy of 2 3/4 inches to the tang. Let's call that 2 3/8, and then you got a cutting edge of about 2 1/8. Sheepsfoot blade, about 1 3/4 total length, and about 1 5/8 cutting edge. And finally, our sheepsfoot. Blade length 1 3/4 to the tang, and just slightly over 1 1/2. We'll call that 1 5/8. So some really attractive blades, really attractive knife. I feel like the quality of these are like on par with old timers of the day, and probably kind of one of the reasons why they led to the demise of the series, because they were probably cutting into the profits of the old timers. I know they tried to market these kind of in a way that didn't interfere with the old timer line, but I think it was inevitable that it was going to happen. So they were kind of, making a great product and then chewing into their own profits in the process. So in any case, fantastic line of knives from Imperial, made by Camillus. Really, really liking this series. And like I said before, I'll be taking a deeper dive into these in the future when I just have a little more selection to show you guys. But there you go. There's model number 4231, the Serpentine Stockman, 3 1/4 inch size. Thanks for watching the review. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell to be made aware of videos when they drop, and we'll see you next time. Take care.